What's going on?
Yes, people, what's happening? It's your boy Zurra. We're back once again. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, everything in between, listen up because it is a brand spanking new episode of Zoo's Reviews. Episode 6, I believe now, crikey. This is the podcast where we discuss the latest and greatest in music, movies, and media. If I find it cool or interesting, I'm going to talk about it. Every single month, listeners are invited to submit their own music full review on the show. All you have to do is send your links to me on Instagram at official_Zurra. If you don't make music but you want to contribute to the show in some way, you're more than welcome to send through some quick fire topics, which we'll tackle at the end of each episode. Now, I'm just conscious, it's been a while since we last caught up, so I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping to get the ball rolling. If you're listening to this via SoundCloud, don't listen to this via SoundCloud. Listen to this either on YouTube or Spotify. But if you are, for whatever reason, drop me a follow, hit like, hit repost, share it with as many people as possible. If you're tuning in via Spotify, make sure you drop the podcast a follow. It really does help the engagement, and it helps get this to the right people as well. Don't forget to drop it a like as well. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button, drop a comment, and don't be afraid to tune into the to get involved in the live chat as well if you're listening to the premiere of it. This is a safe space, so any suggestions, anything you want us to tackle on the show moving forward, drop it in that comment box. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. So, like I said, it's been a while since we last caught up. I do feel like there's a lot to talk about. So just right off the bat, we're not going to be doing any music reviews today, just because I don't really feel like my feet have touched the ground since getting back from holiday. So it's been non-stop. So there's actually a lot of things I want to talk about. So we'll save the music reviews for episode 7, which will be coming in a couple of weeks. And today is just going to be a nice little catch up. I'm going to tell you what's been going on in my life. Hopefully you'll get involved in the chat as well, and you can tell me what's going on in yours. We've got some listener topics as always, and some cool stuff to review as well. So, first off, let me just tell you, like I said, I feel like my feet haven't touched the ground since getting back off holiday. I've just spent the last week or so in Marmaris, which has been fantastic, by the way. Absolutely loved it. Amazing time. I was away with the in-laws, and the weather was perfect. We were kind of looking at the weather apps before going, and it kind of looked like it was going to be a little bit edgy, let's put it that way. They couldn't seem to make its mind up. If you looked at BBC, it was saying one thing. If you looked at Apple, it was saying another. The Met Office was saying another thing. So we were kind of preparing for the worst but hoping for the best, and we got out there and it was absolutely phenomenal. The food was great, entertainment was great, the hotel staff phenomenal. Just a beautiful part of the world. And yeah, I would recommend anyone going to Marmaris, honestly. Like, if you've not been to Turkey before, Marmaris is not a bad place to go. Let's put it that way. There are so many cool hotels, very, very friendly to tourists and stuff like that. You've just got to be a little bit vigilant when you go out and about into like the bazaars and the markets and stuff. Everyone's trying to pull you into their shop, and everyone's trying to rip you off. But other than that, it's all gravy. So the hotel we were staying in, this is the 3rd time that we've been at that resort, and it was, it just gets better and better every single time. They actually started offering DJ workshops to the guests at the hotel. Unfortunately, they were Wednesday afternoons, Wednesday evenings, and we arrived late Wednesday and then left at a reasonable time on Wednesday, but it did mean that I couldn't get involved. But big ups to the boy Tuhan. I'll see you, bro. And we'll be back. I have absolutely no doubt we will be back. And if those DJ workshops are still going, mate, I'm going to come in and I'm going to shell. Just letting you know. I'll bring a USB stick next time. But yeah, had an amazing time. But coming off the back of that holiday, we got back at stupid o'clock on Thursday morning, straight back into training jiu-jitsu again, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday was just manic with gigs. So obviously it's a bank holiday weekend. Everyone was out and about having a boogie, having a good time. So I'm going to do individual breakdowns of the 3 gigs I played over the bank holiday, because they were 3 very, very different gigs. And they all had, their own list of pros and cons. But I'll get into that in just a little while anyway. But the first thing I want to tackle today is obviously a few months ago, I can't even remember now, we spoke about Elimination Chamber, WWE Elimination Chamber. And I just said, look, WWE's back. This is crazy. Things are happening that I've not seen on WWE TV before. So I thought it's only right we do a little catch up on WrestleMania 41. That happened a couple of weeks ago. It happened just before I went to Turkey. So I've been meaning to talk about this. And I feel like I've kind of already said everything I want to say about this to other people. So if you're listening and you've had this conversation with me already, feel free to find something else to do. Like, I'm not gonna chew your ear off about it again, but I gotta say, like, this was absolutely pants. Like, WrestleMania 41 was not what I thought it was going to be at all. The Saturday, because they split it over a weekend. You got a Saturday and a Sunday. The Saturday was so underwhelming. I think every single match was it was pretty poor, to be honest, except the main event with CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. That was awesome. I loved the little kind of vignette they did before the match for CM Punk. This was like his first time main event in WrestleMania. They gave him the big entrance with the band and everything. I believe it's Living Color is the name of the band. I'm not too sure, but they sing Cult of Personality, which is his entrance music. And that was epic. That was amazing. He had Paul Heyman walking him down to the ring and stuff like that, which was pretty monumental considering Paul Heyman for the last however many WrestleManias has walked Roman Reigns to the ring. He's the wise man. And Seth Rollins is kind of coming in there with no alliances. He hates CM Punk and he done Roman Reigns dirty back in the Shield days. So he's kind of going in there as this kind of, well, just this lone figure, right? And you kind of think, okay, he's actually got probably like, he's got no alliances here. So he's going to be the one that ends up getting done over here. Anyway, I mean, if you haven't seen WrestleMania by now, like, then you're probably never going to watch it. So I'm going to obviously go into spoiler territory. So this is a spoiler warning just in case you are going to go back and watch it. But anyway, the main event of Saturday ends up with everyone doing their finishes on each other. People end up doing other people's finishes on, them and stuff like that. So big crescendo. Paul Heyman's like, right, you know what? Tribal Chief, who is Roman Reigns, is just like, you know what, I'm going to give you a steel chair. Go on, it's your turn. Blah blah blah. Sort it out. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I haven't exactly explained that very well because, to be honest, it's just a lot of bullshit. Like, it's a lot of backstabbing and stuff like that. He gives Roman Reigns a chair, and he's just like, you know what, I've always been on your side. Don't worry. There's Seth Rollins. Go and hit him with a chair. So Roman Reigns is getting ready to hit him with a chair. Blah blah blah. Paul Heyman low blows Roman Reigns, hits him in the bollocks. Roman Reigns hits the deck. Seth Rollins goes around and he starts fucking curb stomping everyone, pedigree and hitting with chairs, blah blah blah. It was It was a weird finish because no one saw it coming, and like that really did kind of make up for a lot of the disappointment from WrestleMania Saturday because that Saturday was full of really bad matches, really bad matches. I think Rey Mysterio was supposed to be against El Grande Americano, who is basically Chad Gable wearing a luchador mask. But instead, Rey Mysterio got injured the night before on SmackDown, so they put Rey Fenix in there, who at this point's only had 2 matches in WWE, and now he's going straight into WrestleMania. I thought that was quite an interesting choice. I thought that there were probably better people that could have squeezed in there, but because it was a battle of like the luchadors, it made sense. And Rey Fenix, oh my days, man, he is exciting to watch. He is going to be an absolute banger moving forward. Him and Penta, I believe they're brothers, but yeah, they're really kind of injecting the WWE with a just a slice of something exciting, in terms of like the moves that they're doing, the risks that they're taking, the stunts and everything like that. So, yeah, props to Rey Fenix for stepping up on such short notice and having an absolute banger of a match. The result was not what I wanted at all, but I suppose, a guy that's been there for 5 minutes, you can't really put him over at WrestleMania. And you've also still got to sell that this El Grande Americano is an evil bastard. It's all good guys and bad guys still, you know what WWE is by now. But yeah, so I'm trying to think what else was on the Saturday. Oh God, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. That was an absolute shit show. Probably like the worst WrestleMania match I've ever seen, other than like the gimmicky ones like Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather and stuff. That was really bad because they are both really good performers and they just absolutely. I don't know. Just looked like Charlotte Flair was being super stiff, no selling. Anyway, Saturday wasn't great. Sunday, straight out the gate, you got the Women's World Championship between Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair. Fucking fireworks. That was the highlight of the whole thing for me. That was a crazy match. If you don't watch any of WrestleMania, make sure you're just watching that one match because That was an absolute monster. The females are doing it better than the males. Like I'm telling you, the female athletes at WWE are doing it way better than the blokes are at the moment. They're taking more risks. They're doing crazier spots. It's just, yeah, it's wild. So yeah, big ups to those three ladies. They absolutely killed it. Again, there was another surprise. I think it was, yeah, Randy Orton. So basically, Randy Orton was supposed to be fighting someone, but they didn't have an opponent for him because Kevin Owens had to back out because of a neck injury, blah blah blah. So going into WrestleMania, everyone was like, "Who's Randy Orton's mystery opponent going to be?" and all that stuff. Turned out to be Joe Hendry, who's currently the TNA World Champion. I mean, what an opportunity for him. Like he's used to, maybe performing in front of like, a couple of hundred people and then going into performing to like 70,000. That's crazy. I mean, the match lasted 2 minutes. He got absolutely squashed, but there was a couple of memeable moments. It's definitely the most talk about thing that came from WrestleMania this year. And then the main event just flopped hard. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. They set this up to be amazing. All the promos leading up to it were really, really good. And then the match just was so flat, so boring, so predictable. Um, there were a couple of moments in there where I was just thinking, I know what you're trying to do, but really the wrong person is doing it here. And we needed The Rock. The Rock was such a big part of setting up this heel turn for John Cena and setting up this rivalry with Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. That him not being there actually, you know, fan service aside, it really kind of ruined the entire weekend because like he was such a big part of promoting WrestleMania, actually, making it so that the main event was what it was. Having an evil John Cena, his whole kind of heel tour. And the fact that he wasn't there, it really kind of, it felt like there was something missing. There was a void. But we did get we did get something. We did get someone who interfered in the main event. And it wasn't who anyone was hoping for, As soon as I heard the music hit, I thought, fuck sake. We can't be going there. Travis Scott. Travis fucking Scott. Listen, I like Travis Scott. I'm a Travis Scott fan. I love his music. But can I, for 1 second, believe that he can beat anyone up? No! Dude has got noodle arms. Like, you could snap him like ramen. No problem at all. So he comes out and, like, John Cena's like, oh, yeah, backup's coming, blah, blah, blah. And, everyone's really trying to sell that Travis Scott is like a threat. Like, there's close-ups of Cody Rhodes looking super scared. Dude, what are you scared of? What are you scared of? Hearing him sing without auto tune? Because then maybe, yeah, I can understand that. But yeah, honestly, he got to the ring. He started causing some trouble. He actually went for a full on swing on Cody again, which someone needs to tell Travis Scott that wrestling's fake because like that's the first time that he kind of got involved with this whole Cody situation. He actually slapped Cody so hard that it perforated his eardrum. Like that wasn't that's not a work. That's not in the script. That actually happened just because I don't know. He was taking liberties. Anyway, he should be getting a receipt at some point. Someone needs to slap him up. But yeah, even in this match, you could tell he was really going for it. And it's like, dude, chill, man. Like this is still a show. Like we're not out to hurt people here. Anyway, the match ends. John Cena wins. He's now the champion, and now his reign of terror continues into what's going to be a very long year for WWE. Now, obviously, Backlash is coming up this weekend where he's going to be facing Randy Orton, which, just saying out loud, is fucking wild. Those two, that was the rivalry growing up. If you watch WWE, it was John Cena and Randy Orton. That was the rivalry. So yeah, it's just wild that we're going to see that again. They're both well into their 40s. I think John Cena might be in his 50s. I'm not too sure, but yeah, crikey, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy. But anyway, overall, WrestleMania 41, it just felt a little bit flat. Like, there were things that were supposed to happen that didn't happen. And yeah, it just felt like there was something missing. It felt like there was actually no real plan. I feel like they were planning for The Rock to be there, and then The Rock not being there, they were like, well, who else can we get involved? Travis Scott, let's call Travis Scott up. Dude, Travis Scott is not a threat to anyone on that roster. There's nothing scary about that dude. Like I said, he looks like a fucking ramen noodle. So So yeah, I mean, for me, I'm still going to give it like 3 out of 5 zoos, like overall, because the Saturday was super disappointing. A lot of the matches on the Sunday really made up for it, especially that first match between Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. That was absolute fireworks. And off the back of the kind of the sour note that Saturday left, that was yeah, that easily has bumped this up a couple of points. But yeah, 3 out of 5 zoos. It was okay, not the best. It was set up to be something great. And it just kind of fell a bit flat for me. But yeah, 3 out of 5 zoos, WrestleMania 41. Go check it out. If you're a wrestling fan, it's still worth a watch. It's still worth checking out. You know, there's nothing wrong with liking it. I liked it to a certain degree, but it wasn't wasn't what I was expecting at all. But anyway, we'll move on. Next up, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to all of you who have supported my new single. What time is it? It's been out for a little while now. Streaming numbers are good. I think we peaked at number 41 on the house charts on Beatport, which was it was good. It's not as good as we've done previously, but sometimes these things have legs later in their lifespan. So I'm hoping that will kind of revive. But yeah, it's honestly I've been super excited to bring this tune out. Super excited to bring this tune out because as much as it kind of follows the same rules as my signature sound does, it's also a step in a new direction for me musically. I'm loving the ravey stabs at the moment. I really like listening to classic house music and kind of dissecting, okay, what worked then that I can translate into now. And that's what I'm doing a lot of at the moment. That is what I'm doing a lot of. So my next release, which I'll get into in just a little bit, you'll hear a little bit more of that influence as well. But yeah, just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who has streamed, bought a copy, shared with their friends. Of my new single. What time is it? Again, the support never ever goes unnoticed, and every single person that shares it, every single person that likes or interacts, I see you, and it means the world. So thank you, and please continue to support because things are only going to get bigger and better. I can absolutely guarantee that. Cool. So let's talk about the bank holiday weekend. 3 gigs, 3 very different gigs. And yeah, as you can imagine, on Monday I was absolutely bloody knackered. I was running on zero energy. But we'll talk about the Friday first because the Friday one was quite unique. It was a pop-up event in a coffee shop in Wimborne, right? So I I've been seeing loads of DJ pop-up events happening in coffee shops recently, and I love the sound of it. It's a breath of fresh air, like, and it kind of makes sense. I spoke to someone in Bristol. There's a coffee shop called Origin, which at the time I thought was independent. It turns out it is a little bit of a chain. And I spoke to them about like when they just opened, I was just like, you could do like an opening event with a DJ here, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. And then I actually saw that they did do that, and I thought, you fuckers, you should have called me. They ended up doing like a DJ event there once. I don't know how successful it was, but yeah, I just remember walking past it one day and hearing like garage, and I was like, hang about, what's going on in here? So like, and then since then I've just seen loads of things popping up, especially in London. I know that Riot Noise did one not too long ago, which looked absolutely amazing. They had Chloe and Jess Bays on the wheels of steel for that. And yeah, I'm just seeing it happen all the time now. So Bear in Wimborne, I went there, set up, and you know what? Such a chill vibe. I played super stripped back, deep house, disco, nothing over 125 beats per minute. Like, super stripped back, super nice, super chilled, and everyone was vibing. Like it was a really cool event, and something I definitely want to do again in future. If not there, somewhere else, because it was not your typical crowd where everyone's kind of pissed up and blah blah blah. No trouble. Everyone was there vibing to the music, even if it wasn't their cup of tea. They were still very complimentary and having a good time. That for me, is worth its weight in gold. So the vibes were definitely strong. So we'll kind of break it down into the usual metrics. So we'll start with the DJ booth. DJ booth gets a 1 out of 5 zoos. It gets a 1 out of 5 zoos because it was a table that was way too fucking low. And I woke up on Saturday morning with a seriously bad back from where I was having to bend over and stuff. I tried to make it a bit taller, like, I really tried improvising, but it was impossible. Yeah, I really struggled the next day. But it's all good. Like it's a coffee shop. They're not going to have a professional, they're not going to have like a huge scale like DJ booth or anything crazy like that. Completely understandable. So yeah, DJ booth gets a 1 out of 5 zoos. Overall production, I'm going to give 2 out of 5 zoos. Only because, again, it's a coffee shop. It's not designed for It's not really like actually fair to kind of measure it on these metrics, but I'm gonna have to do it because I'm gonna be reviewing the other two venues that I played under these metrics as well. So yeah, the production gets a 2 out of 5 zoos only because the sound system was pretty good. Like, well, it wasn't amazing, but it was good enough that people could vibe to the tunes and stuff like that. But no special lighting, nothing like that. No DJ booth. So yeah, it just gets a bog standard 2 out of 5 zoos. So DJ booth 1 out of 5 zoos. Overall production 2 out of 5 zoos. Overall vibe, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 zoos, just because it was unlike any other gig that I've played at all recently. It's very chilled, very relaxed, intimate. People could come and have a chat with you and stuff like that. There were a couple of other DJs there as well, not playing, but like they were just in there and stuff like that, and they were really enjoying the set, and it was nice to interact with them and kind of talk music, and yeah. It was just cool. It was a really, really nice vibe. They had a nice garden area which I was playing out to as well. And yeah, I would definitely be down to play that venue again if they did a similar thing. I would be interested to see what it'd be like out in the garden though, because I think inside is great because you do still cover the outside, but they had an amazing garden area which in the summer when there's no chance of rain, I think it would be perfect. I think that would bring the overall vibe up to a 5. But yeah, like I said, I'll give it a 4 out of 5 zoos. So overall, I'm gonna give the pop-up DJ party thing at Bear in Wimborne a 3 out of 5. It was a good vibe. Don't get me wrong. There was nothing special about the production or the DJ booth or anything like that. But you don't need that to still have a good time and to still have a good experience. So yeah, it's gonna get a 3 out of 5 zoos from me. I really had a good time there. Hopefully we can arrange something again moving forward. But if not, I'll be keeping an eye out for any other opportunity to play in a coffee shop. Let's put it that way. I was up to my eyeballs in espressos. I was like, well, if they're on the house, mate, I'm gonna make the most of this. Why not? I do love my coffee. But yeah, by the end of it, I was tweaking like a crackhead. So yeah, big ups to the guys at Bear in Wimborne. Thank you very much for having me. And yeah, hopefully we get to do something again soon. 3 out of 5 zoos. Next, on the Saturday night. So after waking up with a bad back from Friday night, I had a gig at Sub Club in Bath, which was like the complete opposite end of the spectrum. It was not chilled. It was heavy. It was heavy. Sound system fantastic. Like, my ears were fucking ringing and I had earplugs in as well. Um so yeah, it was a really, really heavy one. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I mean, out of the venues that I played in Bath, this is definitely my favorite one because I played it a few now, and I'm playing another one again this weekend. But overall, yeah, this is by far the best venue I've played at in Bath, and one of my favorite venues that I played recently as well. It just kind of had everything going on, and it was intimate. It was small. It wasn't too overwhelming, in terms of like number of people and stuff. But yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting for sure. I got there and I wasn't really too sure where to go. They've got a terrace, which was like perfect on Saturday because it was lovely weather. My boy Jake was playing out there, and yeah, he cooked it up nicely as well. So he really set me up for success for my set because as soon as the terrace closes, everyone comes into the club, which is where I was playing. So that was cool. Thank you very much, Jake, for teeing everyone up. And then yeah, when it was time for my set, I just went in there with some groovers. I just went in there with some absolute groovers. And I had a great time. Had a great time. Bumped into some old faces that I haven't seen in about 10 years, so that was nice. But I've got to say, one thing that really, really um, did my absolute Sweden was there was this one girl who, for about 4 of the 6 hours that I was playing, just stared at me the whole time. Was literally just holding on to the top of the DJ booth and looking at me. And it's uncomfortable. That was so uncomfortable. Anyway, I thought, okay, this is a bit weird, but like right at the start of it, I thought I'd engage and I was just like, oh yeah, how's it going? Blah blah blah. Anyway, worst thing I could have done was engage. Because now she wants to have a conversation every fucking song that I play. She wants to tell me how good the song is. She wants to tell me how much she loves this song, how much she loves the artist, blah blah blah. And that's fine. I love that. I love that you have a passion for music. Full stop. Let alone the music that I'm playing. That's great. But take yourself somewhere else, please. Like, because I don't know if you've ever had someone just stare at you, or you can feel someone's eyes on you. It was that, and I just felt super uncomfortable. And there was security next to me. Eventually, I said, "Look, I don't know." I don't really know how to navigate this, but this girl just won't stop looking at me. And he was like, "Oh, you should take it as a compliment." I'm like, "Nah, nah." I feel like this is going to be a baby reindeer moment, and she's going to follow me home or something. But yeah, no disrespect, but yeah, please don't stare at me for 4 hours. Like that was absolutely, it was hard to deal with. I got to be honest, and I didn't want to be rude. She seemed like a nice enough girl. But yeah, obviously I was just like, look, sorry, I got to do my thing. I can't have a chat every time I mix a new song in. I've got to work. But yeah, crikey. I mean, don't worry, that's not going to bring the score down for this event at all because it was an absolute vibe despite being stared at directly for 4 hours without a break either. Like, legit. No, I'm not even joking. If there was CCTV footage, it would be like something from a horror film. Or maybe even like you see the CCTV footage and I'm engaging with someone that's not even there. Maybe it was a ghost. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, that spun me out big time. It spun me out big time. So let's get into the actual rating of the event anyway, and the venue. So DJ booth, we're going to start 3 out of 5 zoos. Pretty standard nightclub DJ booth. Nothing too crazy. It was just it was everything you needed. So nothing too special, but also not just a table in the middle of a coffee shop either. So yeah, 3 out of 5 zoos for the DJ booth. Yeah, just did what it needed to do. Also had access to the lighting and the what's it called, smoke machines and stuff like that. So that added a little bit of fun to it as well. So I was like, smoking people up, and hitting them with different lights and stuff. So that was pretty cool too. The overall production, I think, yeah, 4 out of 5 zoos for overall production. Because the sound system, like I said, absolutely slapped. Like it was huge. Once that baby kicked in, once that sub kicked in, oh my days. Yeah, every single tune just sounded bigger than I've heard it in a long time on that system. So yeah, 4 out of 5 zoos for overall production. The lighting again was amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And I think that the fact that the dance floor was full from start to finish, obviously I can only do what I can do from a music point of view, but the production really complements the music. And you can play the best tunes in the world, but if it doesn't sound good on the system, then it is what it is. It kind of it sucks at that point. But yeah, this was not the problem here. This was not the problem at all. We had amazing lighting, we had amazing sound, and I'd like to think that the tracks that I chose were amazing as well. So that worked in perfect harmony. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for overall production. Overall vibe, I'm going to give 5 out of 5 zoos. Yeah, everyone had a great time. I had a great time. The staff were absolutely lovely. I just think that environment is, it's nice when everything kind of works together. It um, creates this vibe, and no one feels like they're in trouble, like there was no animosity. It was just nice. That's the only way I can describe it. Was nice, and giving it 5 out of 5 for me seems fair because like there was no trouble all night. Everyone was having a good time. And obviously bank holiday, people are out getting smashed, but people weren't getting smashed. People were having a good time. They were kind of keeping themselves reined in, other than baby reindeer who was staring at me for 4 hours. Or there was also one woman who kept asking for "Not Like Us" by Kendrick Lamar. Literally as soon as the doors opened, and I was just like, no, no, absolutely not. So yeah, other than that, everyone was absolutely super chill. Yeah, the vibe of the entire night was just, yeah, it was great. And I've got another couple of dates booked in at that venue, so I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you're based in Bristol or Bath, come along because it is an absolute vibe. If you haven't been there before, I just know you're gonna love it. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna get out and do a couple of terrace sessions during the summer as well. So yeah, I can kind of tee up the sub club DJ as well, do what Jake did for me. So yeah, overall I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 zoos. Yeah, really, really good night. Really, really good night. And yeah, really looking forward to coming back. Sub Club Bath, 4 out of 5 zoos. Cool. So finally, the Sunday. So, I get in from my Saturday gig around 4 a.m. Running on fumes, have a nice lay in till about midday. Oh yeah, that's the dream right there. Um, get up, go to the gym, go about my business. We're off to Exeter. So I went there with my friend Nigel. My friend Nigel is not necessarily a house music head, but he came along. He wanted to vibe out, and I think we may have converted him to being a house music person. So yeah. I have worked for this promoter before. This is Lee Phillips, who runs Soundhouse events. I did his event at Move in Exeter in March in support of Jack. Unfortunately, Jack has passed away. It was an event to raise money for Jack and his family for alternative medicine, as he was suffering with cancer. Unfortunately, shortly after the event, Jack did pass away. He took a turn for the worse on the night of the event, and yeah, my condolences to obviously his family, and yeah, thoughts and prayers are with them as they navigate life now, because that's obviously just devastating, absolutely devastating. The event was really good, raised a lot of money and stuff like that. But yeah, rest in peace, Jack. You will be dearly missed, and I'm just absolutely gutted I never got the chance to meet you. But I'm very much looking forward to meeting Kate and Jeremy, Jack's parents, at some point soon. And yeah, it'd be great to just talk to them and yeah, just check in and see how they're doing. But Lee booked me for this event at Bomba, which is attached to the same building as Move. So Move is three venues, as I understand it. You got the Terrace, you got Bomba, and you got Move. So I played Move last time. This time I was playing at Bomba. So we turned up, and the venue was decorated. It was completely unique. Like, it looked really, really nice, and it kind of felt like a festival vibe. So you turned up, everyone's wearing glitter, everyone's wearing like face paint, colorful clothing. Um, that the inside is all psychedelic and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, this looks awesome. So the name of this event was Fiesta Electronica. And in terms of branding, in terms of the name and the look and the sound, dude, 10 out of 10. Congrats, Lee, you've absolutely captured lightning in a bottle with this one, because yeah, it was a vibe. It was a fucking vibe. I cannot believe how good this event was. um it just made me feel like I was at Secret Garden Party, which is my favorite festival on the planet. It was just surrounded by, good people, no bad vibes whatsoever. It was just 10 out of 10 from start to finish. Met some lovely people. You know what? It's so funny. I always tell my friend Nigel about these kind of interactions I have with people. When I meet people for the first time and they're a jiu-jitsu guy, it's like a bond is formed between me and a fellow jiu-jitsu practitioner, right? And it doesn't matter how it happens. We just meet each other. Like, it just fate brings us together. And I always tell Nigel about this, and I always sense that he doesn't really understand how that happens, or even that it does happen. But we get to the venue, and within 2 minutes, a guy called Rodrigo, who, what a fucking legend, by the way, comes up to us. He's Brazilian, and he just starts chatting to us. He just introducing himself, blah blah blah, and he brings up candidly that he does Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I turned around and looked at my friend Nigel, and I was just like, see, I told you this always happens. Like, we seem to find each other. So yeah, a bond, a brotherhood was formed there and then. So now Nigel's seen it with his own eyes. I feel like I don't have to explain that to him again. It just happens, people. It just happens. That is the brotherhood for you. But anyway, we get there. The first thing we do is we go out onto the terrace, because that's where the main music is happening. Outside, I mean, again, they decorated it so nicely. It really did feel like a music festival. And yeah, the vibes were strong. They were playing some trance, techno, house. It was all good. It was all good. All the DJs smashed it, by the way. There wasn't a single DJ who let the side down. Every now and then you get someone who plays something a little bit too hard too soon, or maybe like brings the vibe right down and kind of kills the mood and stuff like that. But everyone's sets were on point. So big ups to everyone involved. The music then went inside into Bomba. Bomba, you know, this the way that the venue was decorated and stuff like that, it was just awesome, man. It was just awesome, and the sound, the visuals, the people, everything was on point. Like, I could not tell you a single thing that let this night down. So let's get into the ratings anyway. So we'll start with the DJ booth. DJ booth gets 4 out of 5 because it was a proper stage. It was a proper stage, and wide table for the DJ decks and stuff like that. So you had riders and stuff here and there, which that's important, right? That's important. It gives the event a feeling of scale, right? It feels like a big event because there's a stage. So that for me goes a long way. DJ booth, 4 out of 5 zoos. Overall production, I'm going to give 4 out of 5 zoos because it sounded amazing, it looked amazing, and I love what Lee and the team did with the decor. You've really kind of turned what could easily be looked at as quite a boring room into something exciting and something immersive and kind of hedonistic in a way. So yeah, I really appreciate the time and effort that went into making it look different, new, exciting. So 4 out of 5 zoos for overall production. Sound again was amazing. Lights were amazing too. Out on the terrace was great as well. So yeah, can't knock it at all. Can't knock it at all. Overall vibe. This is getting a 5 out of 5 zoos. Everyone there was so lovely, so lovely. You had some people that were in their 40s and 50s that are out having a boogie. Some even older, and there were actually less people in their 20s and 30s there. So yeah, it was a slightly older crowd, but again, that contributed to the vibes though, man, because it was just surrounded by lovely people, people that are just there to have a good time, no bad vibes whatsoever. So overall vibe, 5 out of 5 zoos. For me, this is getting a 4.5 out of 5 zoos overall because it was nearly perfect to be fair. Like it just was. I think the amount of people that were there as well, it wasn't too busy that everyone was squished like sardines, but it wasn't quiet by any means. People were having it, and they were having it till the end as well. So yeah, really, really well done to Lee and the team. Every single DJ absolutely smashed it. 4 out of 5 zoos. Fiesta Electronica at Bomba in Exeter. Monday morning, I could not wait to get into my actual bed. We stayed at a hotel, me and Nige, and I was like, right, we need to get on the road. I need to get in my own bed right now. And I slept like a baby. So yeah, that was a hectic, a lot of traveling. I think about 7 or 8 hours of driving over the weekend and stuff like that. And yeah, I was just knackered by the end of it. But what a way to come back to reality from holiday straight into a busy bank holiday weekend where everyone is absolutely having it. So yeah, loved it. Thank you to everyone who booked me over the weekend. We got another busy weekend coming up in Bristol and Bath. So yeah, yeah, well and truly back in the swing of things now. The ball is truly rolling off the back of the holiday. It's back to reality. And we've got some cool dates coming up as well. Unfortunately, I've got to let you guys know about I was due to be in Ibiza in May. I think from next weekend, so like the 17th. Anyway, that's not happening anymore. That the Ibiza weekend that I was originally booked for is not happening. Um, and I'll kind of save my reasons for that. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know. I was due to do a tour in Lanzarote, which has been cancelled as well. So unfortunately, it looked like I was going to have a couple of opportunities to play abroad at the start and end of summer. We do have dates in Amsterdam, which I'm very, very close to kind of making public. But yeah, at the moment, I can't release anything because we're still figuring out the T's and C's and the boring legal stuff behind the events and stuff like that. But yeah, there are things to look forward to. But I just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time for any of you that are out in IB for this summer that were maybe looking to come to that event or looking to come see me play. Not going to be there, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean we can't sort something out for later in the summer as well. Saying that though, I'm getting married later in the year. So as long as it doesn't clash with my wedding, then we should be able to make something happen. Or my mini moon. But anyway, what was I going to talk about next? So yeah, anyway, massive thank you to all the promoters who booked me over the weekend. It was really 3 really cool and different events, and yeah, had a great time. So thank you very much. Cool. So I just want to let you guys know about my next single that's going to be coming up. So this is coming at the end of May, so we're still a few weeks out, but it's going to be called Sunshine. Now, this is for me the perfect way to kick off summer. We're almost there. It does kind of feel like we're there. I mean, I'm looking out my window at the moment, and it looks all right. Sun's shining. Can't complain. But I feel like when this tune comes out, it's going to be consistent sunshine from here on out. So it's going to be coming out on Vivify Records. It's got a very kind of inner city good life vibe to it, like proper old school 90s house ravey stabs. Nice simple drum pattern, nothing too crazy, and a wicked vocal that's just going to get you up on your feet dancing and make you want to kiss and hug someone. Let's put it that way. It's just pure good vibes from start to finish, and I think that you guys are going to absolutely love this one. So keep your eyes peeled on my socials. Sunshine is going to be dropping at the end of May on Vivify Records, and I just know that you're going to enjoy it. I've got a really good feeling about this one, and yeah, I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for Sunshine by myself, Zurra. Now, next thing I wanted to get into, whoo, Marvel, baby. Marvel is back. I mean, need I say more? Marvel is back. I mean, We've had banger after banger recently. We've had banger after banger. Daredevil Born Again, smashing. Like easily a 5 out of 5 zoos. But I was lucky enough to go see Thunderbolts yesterday. Whew. Wow. Okay, brace yourselves, because I don't even know where to start with this review. Thunderbolts. So a bit of background actually, for those who don't know who the Thunderbolts are. First of all, go watch the trailer. Like, if you're intrigued at all by anything Marvel related, this is a must. You absolutely have to see this. But yeah, I can understand that like Thunderbolts isn't a commonly known IP, unless you're really into comic books. So Thunderbolts is effectively Marvel's Suicide Squad. If you don't know who the Suicide Squad is, I can't help you either. But it's basically a bunch of reformed villains, I suppose, who kind of team up against like a greater threat. And they're not really a team that's like formed purposefully. Like they just kind of happen to help each other out. That's as much as I'm going to say because I don't want to tread into spoiler territory because this is a film that you absolutely have to see. It's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. Um, we'll start by going through the actual team itself. So you've got Florence Pugh, who is definitely the lead of the film, without a doubt. Probably the leader of the group as well. So she plays Yelena Belova, who's the new Black Widow. And she's amazing at it. Like she's definitely a celebrity crush as well. I mean, my days. But yeah, she's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. You got Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. He's been around since Phase One of the MCU. The guy with the robot arm. You guys know the Winter Soldier by now, surely. He's been around for literally the whole time the MCU's been around. So, and he kills it again. Like he's just every time he's on the screen, I'm like, I fucking love Bucky. Like he's just such a good character, such a well thought out character. You've got Red Guardian, who is the father of Yelena and Natasha Romanoff. So the Black Widow, whatever version of Black Widow you're talking about, it's yeah, their father. The Red Guardian is basically like Russia's answer to Captain America, but he's a bit of a failure. I'll leave it at that anyway. But if you've seen the Black Widow film, you'll know what I'm talking about. He's a bit of a meme, really. But he is the comic relief of this film, and God, David Harbour smashes it. He's so good, so good. Who else have we got? We've got Ghost, who was the antagonist in Ant-Man and the Wasp 2, I believe it was. She's cool. She's actually really the only one with like cool powers. She kind of like phases. She can kind of turn invisible. She can almost kind of teleport. But yeah, she kind of phases between like the real world and the quantum realm. That's how her powers work. And she's awesome. Like we didn't really get a lot of her in that Ant-Man film, and in this, I feel like yeah, she's a great character. They fleshed her out a little bit more, so that was cool. For me, the standout, and like, yeah, I suppose the standout for me is Wyatt Russell as the US agent. Um, who, if you've seen Captain, again, I feel like I'm kind of giving you guys homework, or at least kind of treating this like homework. But if you've seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus, it's a series. You'll know that um, fuck, what's his name? What's his name? Oh my days. Oh my days, what is his name? The original Captain America. Oh fuck, Steve Rogers. There we go. Off the back of Steve Rogers, obviously, like passing and stuff like that. They want to hand the shield to someone new, and originally they give it to John Walker, who is the new Captain America, but he refuses to take the Super Soldier Serum. And the world's kind of laughing at him and stuff like that, and like they're taking out these people who have had the Super Soldier Serum. So there's a bunch of strong, super fast people out in the world that are kind of acting like terrorists. And he keeps getting his ass kicked, so eventually he takes the Super Soldier Serum. It kind of amplifies his anger issues, and he just kills someone in the street using the Captain America shield. Still one of my favorite shots in the MCU, like when he's just standing there looking all frazzled, and he's got blood all over the Captain America shield. That for me is like a straight 10 out of 10 scene. So yeah, obviously he wasn't Captain America for very long. So he's a kind of reject. And the main antagonist of this film, it's not really a spoiler to be fair, but Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, I think that's her full name. basically gives him a second chance. She's like, yeah, the world doesn't need Captain America, it needs US Agent. So he's the US Agent. It's basically a knockoff Captain America without a vibranium shield, and yeah, nowhere near as cool a suit, and with anger issues. And for me, he was hilarious. And then you got Bob as well. I'm not going to talk about Taskmaster because there's absolutely no point in me talking about Taskmaster. Uh, First of all, the Taskmaster that we got in the MCU wasn't even really Taskmaster. I mean, they had the name, they had the suit and the powers, but just the fucking dodgy shit knockoff version of what is a great character. But yeah, they do this version of Taskmaster justice. Yeah, pretty early on anyway. I'll leave it at that. I won't tell you what happens. But the big surprise of the film is Bob, a guy called Bob. No one knows who Bob is. But obviously, if you're a comic book guy, you know exactly who Bob is and what he becomes. And damn, Lewis Pullman, I think, is the name of the actor. Absolutely smashed the granny out of this role because Bob and the characters that he ends up becoming is such a complicated character. Like it's effectively you got to be playing like three characters all at the same time, which can be quite confusing and definitely challenging for an actor. But he smashes it, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried like a lot at the climax of this film. Like I thought, holy fucking shit. Damn, I'm welling up now. But I thought, yeah, this is what's been missing from Marvel movies is just I don't know, like, you know, it didn't have to rely on all these crazy visual effects. It didn't have to rely on, you know, a huge finale, like a big action set piece at the end. This one just relied on the power of like connecting with other people, conversation, and effectively therapy, which I was just like, holy shit, like we don't even need like a big action sequence to finish this, like this kind of crescendo off with. And yeah, for me, I found that absolutely beautiful. The thing that happens right at the end, which if you've seen it, you know what happens, gets me so fucking excited for the future. And obviously the post-credit scene as well. Holy fucking shit, that was huge. But anyway, you're not going to hear any spoilers here. But yeah, it's well worth staying to the end, the very end of the credits. And it was a long post-credit scene as well. I think it was like 3 minutes long. Because I remember thinking, are they going to cut it here? Because it just feels like they need to do something. Like, and then the something happens, and it's like, holy shit, fucking huge. Definitely a massive setup for the future of the MCU. The next film we got coming out is Fantastic Four in July. I can't wait for that. I feel like we're going to get a lot of unanswered questions answered. Let's put it that way. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But Thunderbolts gets a solid 5 out of 5 zoos from me. It's probably in my top 5 favorite Marvel movies now, just because. Maybe top 10 actually, because there are so many Marvel movies out. That's quite a bold thing I've just said, but definitely top 10. Definitely top 10. Um, yeah, I thought there were some really good themes in this movie. Every single person killed it. Taskmaster, thank God we got what we got with Taskmaster. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, I think yeah, it was just great. It was just absolutely phenomenal. It felt so contained, but also you can tell that it's connecting to a wider universe, especially the post credit scene. And I'm very excited to see what becomes of this team under whatever name they take. So yeah, 5 out of 5 zoos. I absolutely love this, and yeah, cannot wait for Fantastic Four. That's the next one. Oh god, Marvel baby, we're back. It's been a fucking turbulent ride, roller coaster. I mean, I always say that I'm biased for Marvel stuff, right? But I didn't give Captain America: Brave New World a glowing review. Like I think that film, like actually in hindsight, it has more problems than I originally anticipated. I still enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Like, and I love a lot of the stuff that they did in there, but the things that took place in that film directly impact the Thunderbolts. And you know there are things that happen, like you know you can actually feel the connectivity now. So actually, in hindsight, yeah, I don't. Anyway, I'm rambling on now just because I'm very excited that Marvel seems to be making good movies again. Deadpool and Wolverine was amazing, of course. Daredevil Born Again. Whew. Holy shit. I've never seen Daredevil look the way he looks in this show. And it's exactly what I picture when I read the comics as well. So yeah, it's an exciting time. Fantastic Four is, I know this is their big kind of home run. If they can smash this going into Avengers Doomsday, then damn, yeah, we're in for an absolute treat. An absolute treat. But anyway, I'll stop rambling. I'm just getting excited. Cool. So we're going to go into the listener topics now, just to wrap things up. We're almost up to an hour anyway, minus the music reviews. So there we go. I told you we had a lot to catch up on. So I'm going to get onto the first one here, and it's from Daniel James. Thoughts on DJs? Oh, I like this. Thoughts on quote DJs unquote getting on lineup. Um, Getting on lineups without the ability to mix on certain equipment. So let me do that all in one go. Thoughts on DJs getting on lineups without the ability to mix on certain equipment. From Daniel James. Right, Daniel James, my boy. Let's get into that then. I think it's a fucking joke. I think it's an absolute fucking joke. And you know, I do not understand. And here's the thing: I've been on events, I've been on lineups, festivals, club nights where someone has come with their fucking shitty little controller and they're trying to set up their stuff on top of you doing your set. And it's fucking infuriating. So here is not even a hot take, but I suppose this is kind of a, just my opinion on it. Like, if you're a DJ and you pride yourself in being a DJ and you want to play these big events, you want to be on these big lineups, you want to be playing at festivals and stuff. If you can't play on CDJs, then I'm sorry, dude. Until you can, you shouldn't be there. You just shouldn't be there. Now, there are certain acts which lend themselves more to controllers than CDJs. Like open format DJs, I understand why you would have a laptop, why you would have a controller and stuff. It's easier to navigate your music library. However, I've done open format gigs on just a USB stick. I have everything I need. I know how to navigate it and stuff, and I prefer CDJs. I just prefer it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It reeks of unprofessionality to me. And again, I don't have a problem with anyone using a controller. Everyone needs to learn, everyone needs to kind of, get comfortable mixing a certain way. But it's really not hard to translate those skills onto CDJs. And, you know, unfortunately, like I'll say it, like everyone kind of looks at controller DJs, people that turn up to clubs with their controllers, as a bit of a joke. Now, what I see people like Mac 10 doing, for example, where he's doing these ciphers and stuff like that with grime MCs with the controller, that's fucking gangster. And yeah, that's his brand. So like I get that. Kate Trinada, a lot of his early stuff was on a tractor controller. Again, he was playing very different style of music, future bass, which was very new, and all completely unquantized and shit. So I get why certain acts would use it. However, when it comes to the big stages, when it comes to the festival slots, and lineups where you might even be the headliner, dude, come on, just use CDJs. Just use CDJs. I think I know what this question is in reference to, and I'm not going to say what it is, but yeah, it's fucking laughable. It's laughable. But anyway, everyone has to learn, in a way that they're comfortable with. But once you've kind of once you've started performing out and stuff like that, and you're kind of out of your comfort zone, then yeah, push yourself out your comfort zone again. Start transitioning those skills to CDJs. Industry standard equipment that you will find at every single venue. Not every venue is going to have a tractor or a rain performer anyway, I could go on for days about that, mate. But yeah, I'm totally with you. I think it's a fucking joke. So yeah, DJs, come on. CDJs. There's pirate studios basically everywhere on in the UK. Just you know, just book out some time, get on some CDJs if you don't have access to them at home, and just spend as much time as you can practicing on them. Honestly, it's not anywhere near as big a jump as you think it is if you're still on a controller. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thank you very much for sending that in, Daniel James. But yeah, like I said, I could ramble on about that forever. Any controller DJs, by the way, if you're listening to this and you want to let me know your thoughts on it, please feel free. Because yeah, this is an open conversation. As much as it's me kind of talking into a microphone, I really want to hear what you have to say as well. So feel free to leave a comment and let me know your experience as a controller DJ. Cool. So number 2, how did you go full time with DJing, and what does your average day look like? From Bacon. Cool, Bacon. Thank you very much for sending that in. So yeah, I went full time with DJing off the back of being made redundant from my old job. That's the truth of it. I lost my job in July 2023. And literally the first thing I said to my family, my friends, my fiance, I said, I'm going full time with music. Like this is the time. If I don't do it now, I never will. I got different responses from different people. But like I just had a sense of clarity as soon as I got that phone call saying that I wasn't gonna have my job anymore. I just knew. I was like, right, okay, cool. If I don't do it now, I never will. So that's how I kind of went full time with it. Now, initially, just for the sake of getting some money in, I needed to get onto the local bar and clubs and stuff like that, and get a couple of like regular gigs, like Fridays and Saturdays. And luckily, I had a couple of venues that were paying really, really well for Saturdays, and just a kind of standard fee for Fridays. So I was making, I think, in the early days, about £700 a week. Just from DJing on Fridays and Saturdays. So that was pretty cool. That kept me going. And obviously I got like PRS and publishing royalties and royalty statements from labels and stuff coming through here, there, and everywhere as well. So that was supporting. So that was great. But that happened literally I technically finished working at my old job on the 2nd of November 2023. I then went on a week long break with my girlfriend where I proposed to her. That was like my big kind of proposal week plan. Came back and then kind of got stuck into loads of gigs and stuff like that. The money that I got from my redundancy, I haven't touched, which I feel very, very blessed that I haven't had to touch that as well. Because I was kind of budgeting with it. I was kind of thinking, okay, how am I going to be able to survive X amount of months off of this? Haven't even touched it. So feel very, very lucky in that respect. Um, so yeah, over the Christmas period, I was very, very busy with gigs. I was doing them on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, here, there, and everywhere. And then January came, and that was my first. That was my first experience of like basically having no gigs, like at all. And I was like, oh my fucking God, this is absolutely diabolical. January was so quiet. There was literally nothing. And then I just realized that, okay, I've just had a busy period. This can tide me over for this quieter period. And then things picked back up in February, got booked for a bunch of festivals in 2024, got booked for a bunch of big shows as well. So I was still doing the open format stuff alongside it. But yeah, it was great. I felt lucky that I could navigate that thing. And, I know that not everyone is as lucky, and there are some people that want to go full time with DJing and stuff that feel like they can't. But I do also have other income streams as well as the gigs. So, like I said, from producing music, I have, publishing, I have royalty statements that come through from different labels every now and then. So, yeah, it's I feel lucky in that respect that I can still support myself through that rather than just the gigs. I've also started doing some DJ workshops with Noise Academy. So once a week I go to schools and I introduce children who may not be doing very well in mainstream school and mainstream subjects. I introduced them to the world of electronic music and DJing. So I've been getting a lot of joy out of that as well. So yeah, there's a few different income streams there. Because if you stick to one and you've only got the one, you're gonna be fucked. Like regardless. And so yeah, like it's all about kind of diversifying your income streams. Merch as well, I sell t-shirts and stuff like that, so that's nice. That's every now and then something like that will come through. Did a job with TikTok not too long ago. I did a job with Honda. Got some other content coming up as well, which these are just odd jobs here and there. But again, these things happen if you just put yourself out there and make them happen. So I feel very lucky in that respect that I've had these opportunities come to me based off of me kind of putting as much of myself out there as possible. My average day looks very different every single day, though. To be honest, I've got. In fact, I'll tell you what. Let me get my phone up because my my background on my phone is my weekly schedule. So Monday, admin day, follow up emails from week prior, send demos to labels, reach out to venues, blah 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 blah. Tuesday, content day, record new social media content, record videos, mixes, blah blah blah, interactive story on socials, post work in progress, blah blah blah, networking. Wednesday, studio day. Thursday, studio day part two. Friday, God, I can't see it because I got loads of notifications come through. But anyway, I made an effort to basically manage my time as best I could so that I know what I'm supposed to do and when. Obviously, every now and then that kind of goes out the window, but it's gonna, because sometimes there'll be something like this Honda campaign that comes through where it's like, right, that's a great opportunity to work with a big brand. I'm going to spend my day doing this for that. So sometimes things have to take a back seat. Or if you're in the studio and you're just not cooking, sometimes you might think, actually, my time could be better spent doing this instead. So it is malleable, but I do have a kind of an idea of what my day should look like. But that's not to say that your day should look the same. Like, you know, if you're looking to go into DJing full time, just do what you think is best for your way of working. It took me it took me a really long time to figure it out for myself. But the sooner you can start thinking about that, the better, really. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, Bacon. Thank you very much for sending that in. And then finally, from Josh Kurt underscore, under what circumstances would you say no to a gig? Wow, that's a good question. Um, hmm, that is a good question because, well, first of all, I'm not playing for free, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how many promoters, despite me almost working in the industry for a decade, like I think December 2026 is the 10-year anniversary of Zurra. And so yeah, I've been doing this almost 9 years, and full time for almost two. People still want to book me for free. They don't want like I just don't get that. I do not understand like how that thought comes into someone's head. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. I've been around the block. I've played to 3 people. I've played to 3,000 people. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been putting the work in. There is absolutely no way I'm playing for free. There's no situation. In fact, the only situation that I would play for free is if it was a opportunity that I could absolutely that I couldn't say no to. That I couldn't say no to. And we're talking like main stage at like major festivals and stuff like that. But even then, they've got a budget. They would probably pay. But even if they didn't, I would kind of be like, okay, I tell you what, this is an incredible opportunity. Let's give it a go. Um, so yeah, if there's no budget to pay, absolutely, that is a massive red flag, and I would definitely say no to that gig. Um, if it is, if it's more hassle than it's worth as well. I mean, if logistically I just cannot make it happen, like if I've got a gig elsewhere and like they're expecting me to be there, and it's just like it's really cutting time super fine, and logistically it's going to be an issue, then I'll have to say no to it. Um, if it conflicts with my values, that's a big one, and that's one I've had to actually deal with quite recently. Um, I'll tell you a quick story before we wrap it up, because I think that I don't think there's any other examples really that I can think of. But if it conflicts with my values, that is definitely a reason to say no to a gig. So I got booked for a couple of events where there was a certain headliner playing. I'm not going to say who that headliner is because it is what it is. But I wasn't aware that this particular headliner had made certain comments about a certain community in the past, and when I found that out, instantly bad taste in my mouth. I was like, no, I can't be a part of this. Can't be a part of this. Now there were two events that I was booked at. One was actually abroad, and one was in the UK, Nottingham and Ibiza. The Ibiza one, I instantly, yeah, just said no. Like if this person's involved, absolutely not. And then for the Nottingham one as well, I I took a little bit longer to think about this one because I actually had friends in Nottingham that had bought tickets specifically to come see me for that event. And I'd made arrangements to stay with friends up there and stuff like that. But I just said no. I can't do it as long as that person's involved. I absolutely cannot do it. Um, because it's not fair on the friends and family that I have close by. They can't I can't allow them to see me support someone with that kind of hate in their heart for a specific community. Again, I'm not going to say any names because you can find this stuff out for yourself if you're that intrigued. But yeah, I won't tolerate anything that goes against my values. And if that means missing out on a payday, if that means missing out on money, hey, so be it. Like there will always be more money to make. There will always be more opportunities. I am absolutely fine missing out on one thing in lieu of supporting someone with hate in their heart. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Josh Kurt. But yeah, logistically, if it's just too much hassle, probably I'll say no. If for whatever reason someone thinks it's okay to book me for free, that's definitely a no. If it compromises my values, absolutely, that's going to get a no. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else? Under what circumstances would you say no to a gig? Um, hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably it, to be honest. Like most promoters, you know. No, I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah. We'll leave it there anyway, Josh. But I will. Yeah. If I can think of any more, I'll hit you up directly because I've got you out anyway. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to everyone who sent some listener topics in. So we'll just do a quick little review of what we talked about on this episode because I'm just conscious of time. So we talked about my new single, What Time Is It, which is out now. Thank you very much for the support on that. Wrestlemania 41, we got into the review of that. 3 out of 5 zoos. Not fantastic, to be honest, but still worth a watch if you're into wrestling. We talked about my gigs over the bank holiday weekend. My pop-up DJ set at Bear Wimborne, that got 3 out of 5 zoos. Nice, cool vibe. Sub Club Bath got 4 out of 5 zoos. And Bomber in Exeter got 4.5 out of 5 zoos. Did I give it 4.5? Yeah, I did. It was very nearly perfect. It was an absolute vibe. Big ups to Lee and the gang for that one. We then discussed my upcoming single Sunshine, which is out at the end of this month on Vivify Records. We then started talking about Thunderbolts. Oh my days! Thunderbolts! So good. 5 out of 5 zoos. You got to go and see it. You got to go and see it before the. In fact, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. 5 out of 5 zoos. We then got into the listener topics, so thank you very much to Daniel James Bacon and Josh Kurt for sending those in. Whew. I think that about wraps things up for episode 6. So, like I said, I feel like my feet haven't really touched the ground since getting back off holiday. So, this was a slightly different episode to normal. We'll get back into the music reviews in a couple of weeks. And then we're going to start introducing some guests. So, my first guest is going to be a good friend of the show, Nigel, aka Hybrid MP. We've done podcasts in the past when he did a podcast called Fuck That's Loud with his old band Bleed Easy. Had an amazing time. He's just like me. He can just fucking run with it and have a chin wag and stuff like that. And yeah, when we get on the mic together, we're going to cause some chaos. Let's put it that way. We're going to cause some absolute fucking chaos. And I think that he's going to be a great person to have on the show first so that you guys can kind of get to know him because I have a feeling that he's going to feature on the show quite a lot anyway. So I don't know whether that will be the next episode or the episode after, but brace yourselves because he's an interesting character and I think you guys are going to absolutely love him. So we'll wrap things up there. Thank you very much for tuning into Zoo's Reviews as always, and I'll catch you in a couple of weeks with some more reviews. Take care.